Hey everybody, it's Casey hanging out with you, and of course it's the Wall to Wall Country Show here on Penn Speak Radio. And tradition, got an artist coming in to the show each and every week, whether it's a classic artist or somebody who's been around for a while, or it's somebody fairly new coming down the pike, somebody you want to keep your eyes and your ears open for. Either way, we're always excited to have an artist on the show today. Mid-August, kind of hot and steamy outside. But this girl is also kind of hot and steamy, and she's got some great music out there, and we're going to find out all about her music, and what is going on with this lovely lady, a lady that hails from California. And I love her website because she's got some really cool pictures of her riding horses, and I've been around that all her whole life. I love riding horses. I'm jealous of the bareback shot, though. But I got to say, welcome aboard, Miss Liz Ann Hill. Hey, Liz, how the hell you doing?
I'm doing great, Casey. Hot and steamy. I'm going to keep that one in my back pocket. That's great.
You like that, do you?
I did. Oh, man. Thanks so much for having me. This is awesome.
Well, I am so glad to have you on. And, I mean, I got to say, I listened to your song, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But you're definitely on fire. You're on fire. But let's back up just a little bit, because you've got an interesting history. You're not somebody who just, came out of the box and said, oh, I want to be a country artist. You've actually been out and about for quite a while. You've been doing some music in a completely different genre. So I'm very interested in hearing the short tail side of how you got from, just kind of being out there on a farm doing your thing out there in California to doing some hot and steamy country music. So why don't you tell us the story, Liz? I want to hear the story.
Sure, it's a good one. Basically, I grew up in a musical family. My dad is an incredible guitar player. My mom is a fabulous singer. She plays piano. My dad sings too, and my sister had to show me up and be a singer, a pianist. She also plays pipe organ and drums.
Wow.
So I had no choice. So I really did. I grew up singing. I started playing bass, and then I started playing guitar and piano, and I had these two completely different loves. I loved horses, and I loved music. And, growing up riding, country music is what we listen to. It's what my friends and I listen to on the barn and, around the ranch. And it's funny because people don't think of there being like a ranching community in California. And it's small, but it's still very much there. So, my school friends would go out clubbing on the weekends, and my barn friends would be like, well, we're going to go hitch up the trailers and take the horses cattle sorting. And you can guess which one I'd pick. I'd rather go and hang out and ride. So, it kind of this like schism to existence of growing up in the city, but still very much, I joke, I'm like, if anybody wants to say I'm not country enough, try and outride me. I'll give you a run for your money. So basically, it's funny because I grew up listening to country. I loved it. I sang it, but I felt like I'm close enough to Los Angeles. I need to do rock. I need to do pop. I need to do what's commercially going to help pay my bills and pay for my horse. So, I did some touring bands. I worked a little bit touring, playing bass for a couple other pop artists. Actually, I just checked where you guys host the radio station, and I realized I've been right by there touring. So beautiful.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but all that to be said, I got a pop recording contract, and I had that for about 3 years, and even had a couple songs chart on Billboard in the EDM world, which it's amazing. Definitely getting a call from your manager and being like, "Hey, guess what? You are now a Billboard charting artist." It felt amazing. But I'd go out and play, and growing up on live music, growing up on country, growing up on real guitars, real drums, real bass, and singing basically karaoke versions of my own EDM tracks didn't feel, I didn't identify with that. So I basically crossed my fingers and prayed that, the deal would end in a good way, and it did. And everybody was happy, but I basically got to be on my own for the first time in a long time. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to those country songs that I've been writing, and sitting on this whole time thinking, well, I guess I just can't be a country singer because I'm from California. And at the same time, Cam's coming out. There's John Party's from California. There's a ton of us. So I buckled up in the studio, was in for about a year, and recorded a whole ton of songs. And The Fish Ain't Biting is the first one out.
Nice. Yeah, we're going to get to that too. But I do have a couple questions on a little bit more of some of the things that you have accomplished, which I just don't want to gloss over them. I mean, you're an established artist. You know, you've been out there doing some things, and part of your bio has a little something that some of the songs that you have penned and charted on Billboard, which you did mention, have been featured in some animated films and some major airlines. Can you give us a little of some of the films?
Without getting myself in too much trouble,
right.
I can't tell you the songs, but
okay.
There are some. There's a hamster out there that's got my voice on him.
Aww.
I'll leave it at that. And also, or actually, a her. It's a her. And then I actually had my own channel for a hot minute on every single domestic flight for a major airline, where I did interviews and sang some original music.
Cool.
So that was, it was awesome. Definitely a cool little bragging right.
Yeah, I mean, and those things are kind of cool. I mean, like I said, your background's just a little bit different, and you know, and you're you know, you had to make some decisions along the way, and you, like it says, you know, you did have to take a leap of faith and go, listen, you know, that's great and it's awesome and it's been working for me, but that's not where my heart lies. And I think that's one of the biggest things about country music is it's all about following your heart. It's all about
Absolutely.
Stuff coming from your heart, and the music and the words and all that coming from your heart. And
Absolutely. And I neglect a little bit, because I think, you know, I was focusing on my upbringing in California, but I grew up back and forth between Southern California and this teeny tiny town. I say teeny tiny. It's got about 5,000 people, which to me, that seems small. I recognize some towns are smaller, but small town in Arizona where, you know, basically, it's so funny because in California, people really want to put off this idea of, you know, putting out a persona of am I likable, am I attractive, am I this, am I that? But in that town, it's kind of like you are who you are, you like what you like, you know, say what you mean and mean what you say, and those values I think are really deeply instilled in country music, and those I grew up with that imprinted in me. And again, danced around, tried to be EDM pop princess. I was like, this isn't me.
Yeah. Well, it's nice too when you get to a point where you know, the other thing is, I think what happens is some artists struggle with figuring out who they are, what they are, and you get so many people to tell you what you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to sound and what you're supposed to look like. I think artists sometimes get lost in all that. And it takes some strength and it takes some guts to step away from that and go, you know, that's great. I appreciate the help, but you know what? I need to find myself and be me and do me. And if that's not good enough for the rest of the world, well, then so be it. You know what I mean? And have the strength to be able to do that. And that's hard, I think. And the industry makes it hard.
100%. But what I've found that people sometimes discount how smart audiences are. Audiences can sniff out inauthenticity faster than you can blink an eye. And I think, you know, if I have a lot of friends who are incredibly talented, but they bang their heads against the wall, and I was one of them, you know, working at something that was successful to a point, but not really working. And it's because that authenticity, that authenticity, if it's not there, people really can't get behind it, because at the end of the day, you want to listen to something that you can believe in, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, and I think when you find your stride and you find your place where it feels like home, you know, I mean, that's where a lot of if an artist can get there, that's where they're going to shine. You know, that's really where it's really going to come out and be the best that they can perform. And like you said, people feel that, and they can reach out to that, they can associate with it, and therefore they, like you said, they can get behind it, and that's where that's what's going to take you for the ride, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's awesome. So tell us about some of the music out there, and you've got a single out there which we're going to play for our audience in just a minute. And I mean, I've listened to this single, and this is kind of a little rock and country tune. This isn't just a little girl talking about going fishing here.
Nope. Well, it's I'm really proud of this song. So funny, talk about going back to your roots a little bit. I actually co-wrote it with my dad, and one of the most fun things I can brag about this new batch of songs I'm putting out is a lot of them either I wrote all by myself, or actually there's only one other song of the recent ones that I'm putting out that has a different co-writer. Either I wrote them by myself or I wrote them with my dad. And he is a rock and roller to the core. He's all about guitars. He's all about, actually he'd be the one that would be giving me grief, things would be doing well in the dance world. Like, that's not real music. All right, Dad, let's write some real music. So he's actually showing off on that really gritty, kind of nasty guitar riff in the opening of the song. But it's this song of the whole batch is one of the more in your face tracks. But I figured it was a good one to start with. Not only sonically, it's kind of catchy, or I think it's really catchy, but it's kind of got this like grooving feel to it. And also, I thought lyrically, it is pretty relatable at this moment. I don't know if you want to dive into it quite yet, but I mean, every single day I'm talking with my friends about their dating struggles, and it made great fodder for writing this song.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely something that's going to get people's attention. You know what I mean? It's not one of those soft little songs that's going to come and go. It's like, oh, it's out there, and you're right. It's down and dirty and gritty, and people need to listen to the words. And and I think if they do, there's going to be powerful women out there who are going to relate to that, going, yeah.
It's honestly, it's so fun to just interact on social media with my, the followers that I have and the new ones that I've been making, and them tagging their friends, being like, "Oh my God, this is our song!" Going, that was exactly what I was hoping for. Is that someone could say, "Oh my gosh, this is me," or "Oh my gosh, this is my friend," and get them involved in the story, because it's I feel like, the song's about how I don't want to use the word that I would normally use, how crappy dating is, and it's just, I don't think it's getting any better. And, that's just that was the stance I took. Honestly, my dad actually came up with the idea and the title because he's seen me, go through my own struggles of thinking someone was awesome and realizing they weren't, and just laughing about it. He's like, "Man, you're just pulling in the wrong fish, or maybe the fish ain't biting." And I was like, say that again. And we ran from there, but it's I feel like it's something a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah. I think so too. Especially women, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Guys can kind of jump from whatever to whatever, but the girls, they're putting their hearts out there, and they're thinking this is the guy, and this is what my life has led to, is meeting this person and having a life, and then they turn around and like, ugh, it's like, oh, you got me.
It's really true. And this whole new, Tinder's not new, but this whole talking to 6 people at once, and don't say that we're a thing, because if you move too fast, then we can't be a thing, and I can't talk to you anymore. Whoa, what happened to writing love letters and walking between each other's houses?
Yeah.
Talk and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just old fashioned. I don't know, but it's a mess, and that's why I wrote that song.
That's awesome. So, I know it's been out for a little bit. When did you actually release this tune?
The song came out June 30th.
All right.
The end of the month.
All right, so it's been out for a little bit. What are the plans with this song, Liz? Are you going to be getting videos out there, or what are you going to be doing with this one?
Yeah, so actually before the song was even released, I shot a music video that I'm so excited about, and then the visual story of it kind of tells the two sides of the literal, fish ain't biting, and then this cast of, what's the word I'm looking for? I interrogated my friends to tell me about the worst Tinder dates they've ever been on, and I got some great stories, and I have actors portraying all of these archetypes of the worst guy you could ever be out on a date on, and wove them into the story of the video, and I'm really, really proud of it. So that's definitely something for people to check out.
Right.
There's also a lyric video that came out a little while ago, and it's I have some crazy ideas, man. I found a Barbie that looks like me, and I found some rubber fishies, and I took her down to the lake, and put the rubber fishies in the lake, and surprise, surprise, none of them bit. Guess Barbie doesn't. Guess even if Barbie can't catch a fish, man, what luck do I have? And basically, it's just been really cool to see the response to the song, to get some new fans from it, to be gaining some nice little reviews from it, and watching it grow. And basically, this was a kind of an opening statement to a larger story that I'll be telling with the music that I'll be releasing not too long after.
Okay, so you're putting together an album. Is that where we're going with this as your single? That you are planning on putting together an album and getting it out there at some point?
At some point. So funny enough, I'm kind of a perfectionist, and there's this old adage that, you know, for a new artist, you have your whole life to put together your first record, and then, you know, like 6 months to throw together your second. And I've recorded an album's worth of material, but I feel like in today's music world, it's so competitive, and people really want your best. Otherwise, they're not going to pay that much attention until they've really invested in you. And at that point, once you've got a following, I think you can put out an album's worth of stuff, and people will appreciate the deeper cuts. But it's kind of a singles market right now. So, but singles market, fishing, biting. So I'm going to be putting out a handful of singles and basically adding up to an EP and see how that does. Okay. And I might be releasing the whole album that I've recorded, or I'm actually in the process of still writing and recording more songs as we go along. So, to be determined.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So you've got some irons in the fire there, so to speak, and
oh yeah.
So your fan base, the most important thing that your fan base really needs to do is pay attention and be there. And
it's been a long time. Basically, I hadn't put out until this song. I hadn't put out any music in about 2 years. And so my goal is to never let anybody get bored. So I'm going to be constantly putting things out, even if it's little by little. There's always going to be something new.
Great. All right. Well, that's a good, you know, and that's something that's going to get you places too, because obviously, you know, you don't want to get bored. Your fans don't want to get bored. So kind of keeping them on the hook, so to speak. Maybe not reeling them in yet. See how I did that?
Well, that's the thing too. Is, my gosh, I feel like it's the same issue with dating. Is there's so much like stimuli. Like there's so many other things vying for people's attention that, you know, if you put out 12 songs at once, unless somebody is a really, really vested fan, that's awesome. They'll ingest it, they'll listen to it, and then something else will happen, and they'll forget about it. So just trying to keep people on their toes.
Right. Well, I think that's a fine plan, and we got to take a little break. But what I want to do is I want to come back and play that song, "The Fish Ain't Bitin'," by Liz Ann Hill, and give people a listen to it. Can you hold on for just a few more minutes, Liz, and then we'll get back and chat a little bit about connectivity with Liz?
Absolutely.
Awesome. This is Penn Speak Radio and Wall to Wall Country, featuring some brand spanking new music. You want to be looking for her video for this. And if you want to find more about this girl, just go to Liz Ann Hill, and that's Ann with an E, Hill.com. You can check out her website. But we're going to tell you how you can get in touch with her on the social medias and stuff coming up in just a minute. We're also going to play that song, "The Fish Ain't Bitin'." Give it a listen in just a bit, right here on PPR and the Wall to Wall Country Show. And we're back with that rockin' tune right there. God, I mean, I'm telling you, man, you got to listen to the words, but it's a great song, "Fish Ain't Bitin'" by Liz Ann Hill. It's a toe tapper. It's a get out of your seat kind of song. And come on, girls, you know, get it together here.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much for playing it.
Yeah, well, we'll get that in our rotation and get some airplay out there for you. And then people should make sure they're paying attention to your website and stuff. Now, are you on the social medias that people can find you and give you their opinion of your music as you're getting it out there?
All of the socials, and give me everything you got, good, bad, and the ugly. I want to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is at Liz Ann Hill. Spelled just like it sounds, except for that pesky little E, A-N-N-E. Mm-hmm. Twitter, it's the same, Liz Ann Hill. Facebook, /Liz Ann Hill. YouTube, /Liz Ann Hill. I try to keep it consistent, except for if you want to Snapchat me, and I'm a little slow to respond. It's Liz Ann Hill.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's all the same.
And
I'd love to hear from anybody. Anybody and everybody. Come say hi.
Awesome. Some of those connections are right there on your website, too. And you're going to be, building up on that website, too. Also, they can give you an email address and keep up to date with what you have going on, new videos, new music, your show listings, and all that other kind of stuff. So they should keep an eye on that as well and find out more. So excited to have connected with you, Liz. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. People need to be looking for the Fish Ain't Biting on YouTube and check that out as far as the lyric as well as the other video. So they should be looking for that and keeping an ear and an eye open for more music coming from Liz Ann Hill, man. I'm excited for you. And if you ever do end up doing some traveling and get up here to the way of Pennsylvania, please do know that the doors for Penn Speak Radio are always open to all my artists. We'd love to have you swing by.
Thank you, Casey. I would love to come play at Penn Speak. That would be amazing. I'll reach out to you and we can set something up.
That would be awesome. And I mean, I got to tell you, keep me posted too. I mean, make sure your PR people stay in touch when you do get some more music out there, or you're releasing one of your other singles, or you are going out for the EP. Hey, I'd love to always get you back on the schedule. That's never a problem. I've had artists come back 3, 4, and 5 times, and just keep me updated on what's going on with you, girl. And let me know if you ever need somebody to ride a horse for you, because I'd come out to California for that.
You are welcome anytime, and I'm shipping my horse to Tennessee in just a little bit, so he won't be as far. You're welcome to come ride with me anytime, anywhere.
That would be awesome. Well, I'll get in touch and make sure we'll get connected on Facebook and Twitter and all that. But looking forward to hearing more from you. And keep in mind that if anybody did miss this interview on this Wednesday, the whole thing gets recorded and aired back on Sunday. So if they did miss it or if they didn't catch the tune, or they want to hear the interview again, make sure your fans know that the whole thing will re-air this coming Sunday morning.
I will let them know.
Awesome. Well, listen, Liz, I don't want to hold you too much longer. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day today, chatting with me, letting me play your music, and we'll help get that out there, and just let me know when you got something new going on, girl.
Thank you so much, Casey, and thanks to everybody at Penn Speak. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, take care. Bye-bye then.
Bye.
And there you go, a lovely lady, Liz Ann Hill. Make sure you check her out. And if you missed the interview, you can catch it again coming up on Sunday morning.